So you've heard about the PTE Academic test and you're still wondering, will this test satisfy the requirements I have for university, job applications, or immigration purposes? Ultimately, the PTE Academic test is not just a test. It's really a ticket towards something you want to achieve in your life. So in this video, we'll go through specific top-level universities that are accepting the Pearson test, which is the PTE Academic test, and we'll also look at official government bodies as well as professional bodies that are requiring it in order to apply. Stay tuned to the end of the video because I want to give you a smart check that you must do before you book your test. This is one step that saves people from booking the wrong exam and saves you lots of money. Let's go ahead. I'm Scott from hzadeducation. Every week we upload videos for PTE Academic so that you can feel prepared and confident before you get into the exam. If you want more information, check out our other videos down below. We've got loads about the speaking, writing, reading, and listening sections. Back to the video. Now, the PTE Academic test is a computer-based test, one that you can complete at home. It takes about 2 hours and it goes through all of the essential parts that normal English tests go through: reading, writing, speaking, and listening. However, it is specifically designed for people that want to apply their English studies to real-world applications. Unlike the IELTS test, which is extremely academic and mostly used for study purposes, PTE, with the Pearson body, have designed this program to be more accessible to people who use English in a day-to-day setting. That's why a lot of people are choosing this test over IELTS or CELPIP, for example. Let's start off with university admissions. Now, the biggest college that our students are going towards is the University College of London, which is the UCL in the UK. They have officially announced that they are going to accept the Pearson test of English for different levels. Now take a look here because they have multiple levels and this will determine how you get administered into your program of choice. For one example, it might require 75 points overall, but you need to have a minimum of 67 in the communication skills section. So make sure that you cross-reference the score you need with your university, for example, with UCL. If you get lower than 67, you might have to redo the test. Next up is the University of Melbourne in Australia. Melbourne includes Pearson's test of English academics in its English requirements, so it has a table of equivalent scores. Generally, you need an overall of 64 with a minimum of 60 in each skill. So it has a little bit slightly less of a requirement than UCL, which might be a benefit to you if you're studying in Australia. Let's go all the way over to Canada, the University of British Columbia, which is actually where I studied. The UBC admission does list Pearson's test of English for the academic test on their website. Again, overall, you need a 65 for the whole bandwidth score, but you need a minimum of 60 in each section. Now, getting that 60 in each subject area is necessary. So go ahead, do the mock test online or book a test and see what your level is because you might be slightly below that and we can work together to boost your score to get it up to 60 or more. It does affect your admissions application. Sticking with Canada, we have McGill University. McGill also accepts Pearson's test of English for the academic version. Now, this can be done online and you get to directly send your results straight to McGill, which makes it very convenient if you are applying for the university in another country and you intend to move to Canada in the future. All of your admission applications for your English tests can be done online from your home, which makes it one of the top choices. You don't have to go to a center like you do for IELTS, for example. Now you'll note that I keep stressing on the academic part. That's because Pearson PTE test does have an academic and a core test. Make sure that you're not accidentally booking yourself in for the core unless it accepts it. And I'll speak about that in just a moment because there's some avenues that can accept PTE core test, which is much faster and easier. However, for universities, make sure you are following the academic test, studying and taking this test. Now, if you've taken the test before and you're slightly below the level of requirement, do get in touch with us because we offer one-on-one tutoring that can help to boost your score in order to get that test score right the first time. Otherwise, you can check out our videos. We have loads of videos to give you tips and tricks on some of the changes they've made in 2026, as well as different strategies or frameworks that you can use when you enter the test. Highly recommend that. So those are some of the top universities that are accepting it. But what if you're just looking to move to another country for visa or immigration purposes and you're not planning on studying? Well, don't worry, Pearson still covers you there. Let's start off with Australia. The Department of Home Affairs have noted that PTE Academic is accepted as one of their English evidence for visa contexts. Just note that they no longer accept PTE Core like they did previously. The changes came in August of 2025, so we must stay up to date. PTE Academic is what you need for Australia visa purposes. Jumping across the pond, let's check out New Zealand. New Zealand does allow for PTE Academic test to be awarded, and just note that you must have results that are less than 2 years old. So if you took the Pearson test 2.5 years ago, you'll have to retake that test again in order for it to be valid. Again, this is the academic test, so don't accidentally take the core test, although it is easier. We are doing PTE Academic. Heading way over to Canada. Canada is an important one and it can be a little bit confusing. So the IRCC Student Direct Stream has indicated that PTE Core is accepted. Now, this is a little bit strange and a bit peculiar. So the immigration in Canada, they accept PTE Core test. Now, if you've been studying for PTE Academic and you've subscribed to our channel already and know all of the information you need for the academic test, well, don't worry because the core test is very, very similar. It's just shorter and slightly easier because it focuses on real-world daily conversation English. So if you're ready for the academic test, you'll do perfectly fine on the core test. In fact, you might find that it's a little bit easy. So Canadian immigration, PTE Core. You can book your test online. It goes through the same website, same channel. It's a little bit cheaper. Just make sure it's the core if you are immigrating to Canada. Now, if you're not studying in another country and you're not just looking for immigration, but you're specifically looking for your professional registration. Maybe you already live in Canada or Australia or the UK, and you need to show proof of your language proficiency. Well, let's take a look at some of the most popular ones that our students are diving into so that you can use the right test for the right program. Australia's nursing and midwifery registration, that's a big one. It's called the NMBA. So they do have an English language skill standard. It's a proficiency test. And on their official website, they have listed that PTE Academic, among other English tests, are accepted. It needs to be done within a certain time frame, but this is really helpful for migration skill assessments for nursing and midwifery. If that's you, definitely PTE Academic can be used. Let's go over to the UK. In United Kingdom, they have the worker and skilled worker visa. Now the UK government definitely does acknowledge here that Pearson's PTE Academic can be accepted for certain routes. So double check if it's appropriate for your route. So this will apply to skilled workers visa, the health and care worker visa, and some other professional registration pathways. Again, just make sure that PTE Academic is appropriate for the pathway that you are taking, but generally it is accepted, so make sure to double check. In the UK, the Pearson test is also accepted if you are inside or outside of the UK, and that's a big advantage. Some of the other language tests are not accepted outside of the UK. For example, like the Trinity College test, that one you have to be inside the UK. So if you're applying from abroad, then Pearson is good to help you in both ways. Let's touch on Canada for a minute. Canada doesn't universally accept PTE tests for all regulated professions, and that's mostly because it's a province by province case. So we need to go into each province to see if it's accepted for the one that you are applying to. Now there's multiple factors to apply here. Acceptance really varies based on province and occupation, so applicants must really verify directly with the regulating authority before they take the PTE academic test. It's best to just contact your employer directly to see if you can take this test and they accept it. So ultimately, if your plan is to study, graduate, register, work, and immigrate into Canada, Australia, the UK, New Zealand, then PTE Academic is going to be part of this chain link. It can be used for multiple different registrations. So once you take the test, you'll have that ticket and it's valid for 2 years in most cases. By the way, if you want more information on the PTE academic test, kind of the behind the scenes information that they don't just broadcast on their website, then do go ahead and subscribe to the channel. We provide tips and strategies to get you up to speed, boost your score, and make you feel confident as you enter that exam. Now, let's talk about the smart check that saves people, and this is probably the most valuable takeaway here. Before you book your test, you need to match the test to the purpose, because Pearson is a large organized body and PTE is just one part of their academic pathway. It can be used for things like immigration, university, and jobs like we've discussed, but it's really ultimately up to the applicant to make sure that they know if the test is appropriate for their pathway. So here's the most simple checklist. First, go to your university admission page and confirm that they accept PTE. We shared the links here, so if it's one of the top schools, then you'll be able to check that out. Also take a look at the required scores. You'll want to know this before you enter the exam. If you are moving for immigration purposes, go to the government or authority page for your visa route application and confirm that Pearson academic test is posted there. Often it states something like Pearson's English Test of Academics or something similar like that. Now, if your purpose is for a job application, the most direct route is to go to your job employer or their admissions page and double check that their English requirement accepts Pearson's. Because there's a lot of variety here with occupations and provinces and states, you'll want to double check. The pathway for job applications is one of the most tricky, so always check with a professional body. Don't just take the test and hope for the best. So stay with this channel if you're in the pathway to achieving your PTE academic test and you want to get the highest score possible. We help you plan realistically and get the top score so that you don't waste time or waste money. Like always, it's a pleasure being here with you. Thanks for following. I'll see you next time.